Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Activities for People Living at Home with Dementia. We are proud to offer this series with funding from Area Agency on Aging and the United Way of Tarrant County. These programs are recorded, and it's always fun to go back and look at them again, and are made available for viewing through a YouTube channel for future use. I'm Martha Brown. I'm your host for today's activities. We are presenting today what is almost to everyone a surprise. Peggy sent me a note last night to tell me that we are not going to do deer today. We're going to look at trees. Peggy, show us your trees.
Well, we're getting even more specific. We're doing Christmas trees.
Oh, right.
Trees. All right.
Absolutely.
We're really getting seasonal today. Ooh, we've got a palm tree showing up on our screen as well. All right, let me.
What, the one with Christmas lights on it?
No, I'm seeing someone just jumped and joined us with a palm tree background.
Oh, that's I can't remember his name.
Stan?
Stan. That
Yeah,
was
Stan.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's get this party going.
Wow.
The theme is Christmas trees, and I looked in our database, and this was one of the first images that came up. A Christmas tree.
Very interesting.
Made totally out of lights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how we
All
did
right,
it in college.
I was gonna say, doesn't this have a certain feel this is taken at a college town at the University of Rochester, so it is in
Yes.
a college town,
Yeah.
or it's at a college university.
Mhm.
But did anyone ever live in a city or in a dorm where either you couldn't fit a tree in, or you didn't have room for a tree, or you couldn't afford the tree? Did you ever do a tree like this in your apartment?
No,
No.
we never did. No.
No, probably
No?
more like the little one in front.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you just hang a couple of ornaments on it, Yetta, and some lights and call it a tree?
Yeah, probably some ornaments, yes.
Yeah. Always look, we're seeing Phil and Paulette's little decorated chandelier.
Yes.
It's ornaments on our chandelier.
Ornament.
Mhm.
We just
Yeah, so you can see the Christmas lights. What other holiday decor do you see decorating the apartment?
See some presents, looks like.
A couple of Santa boots in the floor.
Santa boots.
Maybe a Christmas card hanging on the wall.
Oh,
or
like
up
right
in the
here. Yeah.
window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see ornaments kind of just haphazardly hung wherever there was a ledge.
I can't tell up in the window if it's a little house up on the window by the tree, you know.
Over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a couple of plants, maybe some Santa either card or painted thing,
Mhm.
and then like a few, maybe another ornament, some other Santa type things. So this particular photographer was a New Yorker through and through. He ended up teaching at the University of Rochester for several years of the last chunk of his life. And he was really interested in photographing kind of the everyday, nothing exotic, just the everyday life you might experience. So this fits pretty nicely into it. And according to the newspaper, the school newspaper, he was known for taking photographs of his friends' Christmas trees around the holidays. So this, it doesn't say specifically whose tree this was, but this was something he did every year. So people, were kind of honored to have their photograph of a tree taken at their place.
I noticed there's an angel up in the corner of the
Isn't
window
that funny? It's like
And
they
a
couldn't hang it over
snowflake.
this tree.
and a snowflake in the other corner.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And
angels
then this is
flying
just like the
around.
lights were thrown on.
Yeah, exactly.
It almost looks like it's got a kind of a, I don't know, can't tell, almost looks like a Christmas background on the window itself, kind of like a plastic, whatever, they call.
Yeah, like like a film on it.
Film on it type of thing to make it
Yeah,
look
I
more
think
Christmas.
what it actually is you can see branches outside. So there must be a
Okay.
street light with some branches. And then it looks almost even like across the way, there's another apartment building or a
Okay.
dorm, something like that. Because you can see a number of windows, like 1, 2, 3, 4, lining across the
I just
way.
can't see it close enough. So
So,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
does that mean this may be outside, trees outside the window then?
Yeah. Mhm. And trees without leaves. So it kind of plays into that.
Yeah.
Especially in Rochester, New York, that cold, barren feeling that starts to hit in December, right around Christmas.
It's funny, that's number out there through the window. To me, it looks like a year, 1900 and something.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness, you're right. Yeah. 1979, if that's when it was made, if you really want to put
Oh,
a number
wow.
to it. Oh, how funny. Yeah.
Great
I do see,
eye,
I do see one thing that we had when Mara and I got married, we were juniors in college, and we had a little black and white TV just like that.
Oh, yeah.
And, we kept that going, and it's a good thing I was an electrical engineer because I was able to fix it a couple times. But we moved down to Texas, and we got a huge 19-inch color TV,
Ooh,
and we
wow.
were just blown away by that. Yeah.
it started to weigh a ton, right?
Yes, of course it did.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm. My little black and white like this one had a rolling stand. I was up on.
Ooh.
Oh.
And I used that thing until 1993.
Well, Myra,
Served you well.
Yeah, it did.
Martha, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something, and this is a pretty large picture. He's using large format. So, we're able to see some of these details that you guys are pointing out. The fact that you can tell, what's on the ledges, there's a candy cane, the
Yeah.
type of camera he's using allowed that crispness of detail, sort of like the picture we looked at last week of that door, all the white doors in that house, the large format camera. And so this picture is 13 by 16 inches. So it's a pretty large photograph. Given the subject matter of it, you're thinking it might be just like a little, 4 by 6 that you might find in a shoebox somewhere, but it's actually pretty large.
Oh, does
All right,
anybody
so we're-
recognize this? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Does anybody recognize this plant that's sitting on top of the TV?
Not
Kind of
me.
reminds me of a Christmas cactus, but I can't tell.
I don't know.
No, I don't think it's a Christmas cactus.
Okay.
It almost looks like it's a plant in a vase versus a potted plant, like some of these other
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna shift now from fake Christmas tree to
Ooh,
a
yeah.
Florida Christmas tree.
Oof.
Looks like California.
Well, you're close. It's Boca, baby,
Oh,
Florida.
ooh,
So the other coast, but a sunny state.
yes.
What jumps out at you first?
There's
Oh,
no
tree.
snow.
The
No
mailboxes.
snow.
Almost the
Definitely no snow.
mailboxes.
The mailboxes.
The mailboxes. So this photographer was friends with this photographer. They both lived in Rochester, New York, and both of these photographs were in the same portfolio of 10 pictures. I want to say it's called the new color. So these photographers were really interested in photographing in color because this was when the technology was starting to really jump and change and advance. So you would think based on these two photographs, the series was about Christmas trees. It's not. They just happen to both photograph the content of a Christmas tree. And so this particular photograph or photographer took this picture as part of his thesis work that
What?
ended up then being repurposed for part of a portfolio. So he was really focused on the formal elements of the photograph, the repeating patterns, the lines, the shape, the color. He was really working on that more so than to tell a story. But he wanted the mailboxes to be the focal point,
Okay.
which they are. And what makes them the focal point? There are multiple elements he uses to direct your eye right back to those mailboxes.
Well, they're the right center of the picture.
Yeah.
Red what?
They're in the center of the picture.
Center of the picture.
The,
Right,
the
so
front
they're
of the,
right in
they're at the front of the picture also.
Yes.
They're in the
front of the picture.
foreground. What
Um,
else?
And color is so different than everything else.
There you
Yes.
go. He
Yeah.
uses different color.
And there are
He
two of
uses,
them.
oh, go ahead.
And there are two of them.
Yes.
Two. Yeah, so there's a symmetry to him. He uses this light or heating post and this palm tree to
Yeah.
frame him within the frame.
Mm.
And then he's got these hedges that both point your eye to the middle of the,
Oh, yeah.
Right,
they
yeah.
lead right to it. And then he was really interested in these ornaments that kind of drop down right to they end right at the mailbox. So your eyes follow that tree and you land right on the mailbox.
Okay.
Now, Peggy, you call it a him. I mean, the name is Joyce. Is that not a female?
You know what? I think I just assumed it was a guy,
Well,
but I don't actually know.
I've known I've known a couple gentlemen named Joyce.
Oh,
So-
you
I
do?
don't
I only
actually
know
know.
females by that
Yeah.
name.
Yeah, I know you're right. I think I just assumed it was a guy because he or she was friends with Roger.
Yeah.
And I read part of, we'll just have Culver's thesis, and I did not indicate one way or the other. So I do not know. I should know the gender, and I do not.
He's the
So Peggy, this
Yes.
this palm tree over here,
Mhm.
I've seen a lot of palm trees, and I've never seen one with that wide of a trunk before.
Yeah, so he's manipulating with color too.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know how much manipulation he's actually doing to specific things, but he was deliberately trying new things with the color because of color photography. So, and this artwork, this photograph taken was one of the last of his thesis work, which or I'm saying his, I really don't know. Then it shifted the direction of the work, and this was kind of the springboard for a new direction the art took. So, and that has to do with all the different elements he's focusing on, the color manipulation, things like that.
Peggy, can I read you something?
Please.
I looked up Joyce Culver, and it is a female.
Okay.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I was reading down her bio, and it says, later on, her work called A Change of Mind explores feelings about her father's late onset Alzheimer's disease and consequences on her mother and sister. When
Oh,
her
wow.
father passed away in '99, she decided that these personal photographs needed to be seen in a larger context. So she's connected with Alzheimer's.
Oh, wow. How interesting. Thank you for sharing that, Martha.
You're welcome. So it's called A Change of Mind.
Also
Interesting.
noticed I Googled it too, and it is one of the, premier pictures for the Amon Carter Museum
Mm-hmm.
on their
Never
website.
seen this one in real life.
It's in the website, yeah. So it's cool.
Go, Steve.
All
Thank you.
right. Yeah, I've never seen this one in real life. A lot of museums do have it in their collection as well. This particular series, that the new color was, I think, one that was pretty influential because it's really working with these large format cameras that are taking pictures with using color. And this is a 12 by 12 photograph. So it's, again, pretty large size photograph. And then we talked about Steve was hitting on, the what are they called? Mailboxes are closest. She was trying to focus on depth and creating a very tight and deep scene. So they're real. I mean, she does a pretty good job.
Yeah.
This feels pretty close, and then you're still able to see the crispness of street lights and then possibly a pier in the back. I mean,
Yeah.
you see in such a tight space this depth.
You don't see those mailboxes very much anymore.
No.
They're
No.
hard to find.
Yeah.
The only ones in our community is outside the post office.
Yep. Ours too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait. Don't we have some mailboxes like that in front of our Walmart grocery store?
Oh, uh-huh.
Okay.
But
I
those are only
just
the two
discovered
I've
one
seen.
yesterday.
There are not very
I was
many of them.
surprised.
No. The
Kinda
post
like,
office is taking them away.
Kind of like payphones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I hate that because I have like so many memories of being a child and my mom would pull up and I would in the passenger seat when like toddlers were allowed to sit in the passenger seat. I like would put I loved that job of putting the post in the mail.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And watching it close.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Bye mail.
Okay, so now we're leaving our friend Joyce, who is a woman. Thank you for that research. That was like basic research I did not do.
We're
And
a
we are
team.
jumping to a family portrait in front of a white Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Did anyone grow up with a different color Christmas tree?
No.
No.
Clocked.
There's a museum in Brevard, North Carolina that has all these different trees. It's got the
Cool.
silver ones, the tinsel ones.
I love
You
it.
go in there and it's just kind of all these different from all the different years.
Oh,
Kind
how
of
fun.
fascinating. Yeah.
Man, I bet you can't be anything but happy in that place.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
fun. So while the Christmas tree is not really the focus, it's still included. And I feel like you probably have memories of getting together in front of a Christmas tree
Sure.
for a picture, or making your children get together in front of a Christmas tree for a picture. But I feel like this type of family portrait is just so iconic in every family, you know, whether it's you're sitting in front of the tree or decorating the tree, there's always pictures of the family with the tree. Do you guys
He's got to
have
be in
memories of
Texas
that?
or Oklahoma because he's got boots on.
That's right.
You know what? We're going like straight New York on this one today. This
Really?
is Buffalo, New York.
Okay.
This is
Where
where?
is it?
Buffalo,
Okay.
New York.
Oh, my goodness.
So that's interesting. You point out the boots, Steve. So this was one of those photographs where I was drawn toward it. I think it's a very just a sweet photograph, and it's one photograph in a series of 3, and there is so much written about this particular series of 3 photographs that I encourage you to then kind of research on your own. But I'll give you some of the context within this photograph. So this particular photographer was, again, another New Yorker. I don't think he even touched it. He was an ophthalmologist, went to Columbia, didn't touch a camera until after school. And he moved up to Buffalo to open a practice, and then started taking pictures. And his pictures were social documentary. So he was really interested in showing kind of the lower class life in Buffalo to advocate for social justice, social equality, things like that. He is a white man, the photographer. So he went, there was a big steel production in Buffalo at this time, and he produced photographs for a series called Portraits of Steel. And he followed a few different men in this industry to then put together a portfolio. And it wasn't just pictures. These people were then interviewed after their photograph, and they looked at the photograph and reacted to it and kind of talked about what was going on for them at that time, which they now, you know, the photographer and the interviewer felt like this was a really rich way of understanding the life and culture of this type of line of work, of these types of people. So anyway, the first picture, which I do not have, is a picture of him. His name is Joe Kemp, the man. The focus is on the man. His name is Joe Kemp, and he's working in this. It's a picture of him working in the steel industry, and he's shirtless, sweaty. He looks like a big, strong boy doing his job. So it's depicting of him as a hard worker, and he was trying to not depict it as a way of this is what Black people do, or this is us working a race in a physical way that might not be work. White men might not be work. It was not about that. It was really to talk about the line of work that they were doing. So it shows him as a hard worker. The second picture in the series is him as the family man. So he's got his 3 daughters. They're all wearing white shirts. His wife, and then his son. And he's got his polished boots, which he comments on how he loved those boots and that they were pretty fancy, and he, he was well dressed. Everyone looks very polished and put together. So portraying this family as a united family, as a comfortable, living comfortably. They've got a Christmas tree carpet. It feels bright and sunny. And the third picture of it, so there were two pictures of him as the worker, as the family man. You flip the page, and as the third picture of him, he's in a wheelchair. He's lost a leg, and he's with not his family, but he had a new partner.
Oh.
And so it was sort of a surprise and a shock of how life just happens. He lost his livelihood and his leg, which you would never expect from this series. And so that final picture is in very dark. There's no window, there's no sunlight. It feels very enclosed, which speaks to the mood of that final picture.
Yeah.
Whereas here, I've sensed it feels very happy. Does anyone else
Yes.
feel that way or feel different?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you just think he's got it all and how quickly that can change. And so when he was looking at these pictures and reflecting, he was speaking,
That's
not
it.
that he felt sorry for himself, but just how quickly life can change. And so he ended up dying in 1995, and it made the news in the area because this series was just so iconic, and Joe Kemp kind of became a celebrity in his neighborhood, so to speak. He died in 1995 from complications from a car accident he had been in.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so.
Wasn't that the other builder?
But it's just, not really much about the Christmas tree at all, but how, for whatever, this was how he wanted to be depicted in this photograph portrait series, Happy Moments by the Tree. So,
I love the his hands and then his son's hands on top of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
isn't
It
that
looks like
just
he's a pretty big,
sweetest?
a pretty big fellow.
Yeah. Yeah, and in the picture where he's shirtless, he's very strong, very muscular. I couldn't find anything on his actual height, but he does comment on his big hands resting, protecting his little son, and his little son is right on top. So there is that sweetness that he also picked up on as well. So family portraits by the tree, we see them all the time this time of year. And then totally shifting, this is again another New York-based company, New York-based artist. The reception of Christmas cards that I'm sure you guys are already starting to all get, holiday cards, well wishes, and the New Year cards. And this particular company, Way, based in New York, was a print house that worked with all different types of graphic designers and printers in the 20s and 30s. And every year they commissioned one of the artists that they had represented to create. Bye, Steve.
Bye.
Bye, Steve.
Bye. See you
Their
tomorrow.
Christmas
See you
card.
Friday.
Yes.
You do. And so this was one from 1926, and I just have another one from 1927. And both include Christmas trees.
And so
But
very
here's-
different.
They're very different, yeah. And so this is a male, Rockwell Kent, and then this one is Wanda Gog, is how you say her name. She would often correct people. People would want to say gag, and she says rhymes with jog, not gag. So it's Gog is how you say her name.
We've seen
And,
some of her work before, haven't we?
Yes, she was the one. She was really well known for the children's book Millions of Cats or whatever. I don't know that children's book, but that was what she was very well known for. So this is, she was commissioned by the gallery to create the gallery Christmas card. And so I couldn't find the count for this one, but for this one, 1,500 were made and mailed and distributed. So you can find these on eBay or different
really?
auction houses, things like that. I mean, not cheap, but you can find them still because there were so many produced. And then the wood blocks were destroyed, so that whatever is out in circulation now is out in circulation, and that is it. But this felt very Scandinavian to me, this representation. It just felt very streamlined, the trees, the flame, very beautiful. And this had that cozy Christmas feel.
Mhm. What's on the right
Christmas.
side?
Say that again, Martha?
What is on the right side in the center, the right
It-
center?
Over
Yeah.
here. I think it's the shadow from the candles of
Oh,
the
it's- The
The
bed.
bed
bedpost.
frame.
Oh, the bed frame. Okay.
Yeah. Did anyone ever have like truly lit candles, flame candles on their Christmas tree?
No.
All the time.
Oh, really?
Yes. But
Do you
our
do that
trees
now?
were also fresh, you know, they were just cut just before in December probably. And we wouldn't put it up until the 23rd. My parents would do that. And we always had the real candles on it on the 24th when we celebrated Christmas.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Oh, I can only imagine. How special. Would you put an angel or a star or a ribbon? What did you put on the very top of your tree?
Always a star.
Always a star. Who else were stars? No one? Who were angels?
Angels.
Who were
Angels.
angels? What are other things? Ribbons? Did people tie a big bow at the top? Did anyone do that? No.
A lot of
Yeah, we
people
can't
do in the
see.
stores.
What did
So
you
they-
say?
In the stores,
Mhm.
department stores.
Yeah. But this felt so cozy to me. Just that's kind of how I picture Christmas in my mind. You know, you're in your bed, cozy, dark, waiting for the morning. So
Mhm.
this one had a very different feel than the year before, but
Yes.
beautiful
Mhm.
nonetheless. This felt more of like a religious take to it. This
Yeah.
felt more of just the holiday feel. So anyway, those are our Christmas trees this week. Next week, we are looking at Sleds and Sleighs, a holiday, a winter favorite. So yeah, so I will be back with y'all next week. I'm here all December. Are you guys going anywhere for Christmas?
Nope.
Nope.
We will be here every day.
So I will be here every Wednesday, not every day, but I will see your sweet faces then next Wednesday when we're talking about sleds, okay?
All
Excellent.
right. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Y'all have a
Peggy.
good week.
Thank you, Peggy.
Bye.
Thank you, Peggy. I just well, let's take a look at what's coming up and then we'll rock on to Fifth Street Cafe.
Okay.
That's Peggy and Trees, which was a surprise. Tomorrow, Emily Corbin moving to heal. So we'll have chair yoga tomorrow and get to stretch our bodies. Yes. Gail sent me a text just a few minutes ago and said she's going to pop on while we're in Fifth Street Cafe. And she has a question she wants to ask everybody, but I don't know what it is.
Okay.
So I'm going to stop the recording.